Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at the data that is generated from the Rochefoucauld map, the distance or the date as it has been previously stated as 1347, and also the scale data that was taken from the note at the bottom of the Rochefoucauld La Formula. Actually, it's not the Rochefoucauld, but it's La Formula. And it's this one right here. And if you, there it is right there. And I got this from Oliver on Oak Island Research. She sent it to me. Now I've gone over this before, but what I wanted to show you guys is down here where we get the number, and it is right here. It is supposedly, it is hidden as a date, but it's very strange. And Oliver had made a comment to me when he first discovered this. He also had informed me that it may be a scale, another scale distance, and I believe he was right. But anyway, it is the 7th of January, and then it's 1960. And then at the end here it has a, it's DIX, and then I think that's HUIT, which I believe is 18 in French. I think I had it up here. Yeah, here it is right here. Dix, Huit, however you pronounce that. It's 18. Now, notice it's a hyphen right there, but in the document it's a hyphen before. But nevertheless, you know, when you pull up the calculator here, and you know, you take 1 plus 7, which is January 7th, plus 1960, plus 18, you end up with 1986. Now that is in a distance that I believe is pre-1668, where the unit foot measures were 326.569 millimeters. So we had to convert that in order to get the distances that we use for Google Earth in today's units. However, I find it very interesting if we take the other distance, which was 1347, which was the distance. I'll show you guys. Get on Google Earth, view the sidebar. Let's go and put up the Rochefoucauld map, and that distance is right here, 1,347. So that is the distance that we get from that map. And when you add those together, plus 1986, you get all threes. And I thought that was pretty interesting. It's again sort of cryptic and maybe coincidental, but it could be that it is an indication that you are understanding what is going on, and the author is giving you an indication in sort of a numerical cryptic way that you're right on. Those are the two that you need. I also want to show you that the the two boats here could represent the Batao, the large boat, could represent this yellow, the larger scale, and that the Barcoo represents the smaller scale. And if you notice these little blocks on the side, there's 3 of them, and there's 4 sets of 3. So, because I haven't really found too much, except that they do line up to certain points on the grid here on the matrix, but it could be that maybe that is an indication. We're sort of running out of things that we can discover on this. I also want to recommend that you go and watch Oak Island Research, the series that he's doing on this map and the legitimacy of this map. And it has been sort of a quest, and I started this out in a very skeptical way, in thinking that both La Formula and this map may be hoaxed or faked, and therefore I delved into the research. And if you followed my videos, I delved into the research of looking into the French interpretation of these words and the time frame that they were used in order to establish that, you know, that that this was written in a period of time before any of the people who discovered it. However, that was about the time that Alibert, who was a subscriber to my channel, got involved in the research and did wonderful things in finding the anomalies that are in this text. And the one thing that I can say is that when you take the data that we have found and you put it on Oak Island, it really, I mean, the way it corresponds to the other data and how it correlates in such a way that it's almost indisputable. I mean, this oak entrance was established by Fred Nolan's data. This south anchor was established by Fred Nolan's survey. This north anchor was basically discovered by Fred Nolan's survey. And I could put that up for you guys if you want. You know, here's the markers that we used, or the survey that we used, and then we just put in the vectors for Fred Nolan had already mapped out. And you know, you can see I haven't changed, and you know how it, you know, it's not precisely right, but it's within 6 feet of the oak entrance and the drilled holes for the 1937 survey. So this all corresponds, and it is very, how can I say it, integrated, that it couldn't possibly be something that was made before Nolan's Cross. Now, Nolan's Cross, if you can see, that is very integral to this coded distance scale off the Rochefoucauld map, especially this one, this 1437 scale. if you notice, the end stone is very much in play here. Look at all these, and these are all the same distance, which is 1,440 feet in today's measurements. And the yellow scale is 2,130 feet. And these all emanate, there's only a couple of them, but the main one emanates from the extension triangle, which is an extension of Nolan's triangle. Nolan's triangle has to be into play here. The other thing with this Rochefoucauld map is that the compass rose here is it registered basically itself on the 45,522 point, which is right here, and that is only determined by deciphering La Formula. It's 522 feet from the oak entrance to here at a 45-degree angle. That's why we need to know where the triangle of Peter is, because what you do is from this point you have to sight in the oak entrance using the triangle of Peter. Now the headstone is right here, and that 45 degrees does go right to the headstone, and I can put that up for you. The headstone is right there. I'm sorry, it's not the headstone, it's the top stone. I get those mixed up all the time. The top stone, which is 145 feet from the headstone of Nolan's Cross. So the register here, okay, it registered to the oak entrance, and it lines up pretty much exactly. And this line here, this yellow distance, okay, can only meet, if you draw a circle, there's not too many places. It really has to meet right there. So in order to be this distance, and its measurement is 2,131 feet. So it's within 1 foot, and it's hard to get these things exact, but anyway, so that's pretty much what I want to say is that, all right, in Oak Island Researches, and if you watch his video, he talks about this man, Don Rue, who at the time that, sometime during the time that they discovered these two items, La Formula and the Oak Island and the Rochefoucauld map, he said that it was fabricated by Bill Jackson, that he fabricated this in order to trick these people in some kind of a CIA setup in order to get these guys to buy it. That really is sort of unclear to me, and to me sounds a little half-baked. Very much, why would the CIA want them to buy this map? I don't know. It's really sort of out of a spy novel. But the fact of the matter is Bill Jackson, Don Rue has stated that the back of this letter, which he called the Eli letter, was imprinted with this design, with this map right here. Okay? Now, they don't mention anything about the La Formula, which is this document right here. They don't mention anything about La Formula, but according to Zena Halpern and Don Rue, they were found in the back of a book on Christmas Day, by the way, and they were found in the back of a book together. I believe that is right. And the thing about this is that means that he would have discovered that he would have had to have made this map in 1979. Okay, now I lived in 1979. I was actually going to college in 1979, so you know how old, sort of old I am. But I'm telling you right now that nobody had printers like this, even though the technology was there and it was not available. It this right here is not a dot matrix printer, which is basically what anybody who had the latest technology would be using, dot matrix. It definitely is not a typewriter, which the printer I would have used if I had the computer to generate a printer, which I didn't in 1979, would have been a rotating ball just like a typewriter. So this looks more like an inkjet printer that didn't really even come out until the 80s, probably around the mid to late 80s. So I could, even if this letter was possible, let's say Don Roux did have access to a printer to do this on WordStar, which would be WordStar probably 1.0, because 1.0 came out in 1978, and WordStar was the program in order to generate this. But whether he had the printer to do it, I don't know. And it was very complicated. It wasn't like Windows today or anything like that. It was using a program that was before DOS, which was, DOS was even hard to use. And it took a long time to generate documents like this. But even if it wasn't, the fact of the matter is Fred Nolan didn't even, and here's a chronology, is Fred Nolan didn't even disclose Nolan's Cross until 1981. He may have made, I know he may have made a film for the History Channel, and I believe it was maybe 1981 or 1980. But in 1979, Fred Nolan pretty much had this under his hat still. And I'm sure he knew about it in 1979, but he didn't make it public or announce it until the early 1980s. So here we go. So this is Don Roux is saying that this was imprinted, that this design was imprinted before, before August of 1979. But here we go, and we look at this design, and whether this was the intended design, it doesn't, I don't see how it couldn't be the intended design. And that means that if Nolan's Cross wasn't even known, how could you have this design here without Nolan's Cross? You can't, because Nolan's Cross is so integral in this design. So what is it that tells us that Don Roux is trying to basically hide the fact that this was discovered and that it's real? I think he's trying to disguise the fact that it is real. And this is my interpretation of what happened, because it was in December, I guess Christmas Day of 2011, that Don Rue had gone to Zena Halpern's house for some reason, and I believe the reason is she had noticed a lump in the back of the book that was lent to her by Don Rue. See, Don Rue acquired a book from this man down here, William Jackson. William Jackson died in 2000, and William Jackson apparently got this document from Tim McGinnis. Tim McGinnis to William Jackson. So when did this happen? We don't know. But it was stated in the book by Don Rue that they acquired that he had made this up in 1979, but then also acquired it in 1994. So the thing is that you cannot have two dates of acquisition, and it's very shady in that we're saying that it was 1978 and 1994. But if you watch Oak Island, the last video he made, Oliveira tells us that it is very shady, and that the book that had this document and the La Formula document was acquired by Don Rue after the death of Bill Jackson, and that he lent it to Zena Halpern. And I believe that's the way it happened. It happened that way. Now, when did Bill Jackson acquire these? I don't know. 1994. That's one of the documented times that he acquired these documents, 1994. Why did they get put in the back of a book, hidden in the binding of a book? Well, because he knew they were valuable. I don't think he was trying to pull something over somebody's head. I think he was trying to hide them from being discovered by anybody else. So, after he died, he willed these books, or Don Rue got these books. And I don't think Don Rue knew about the documents. I don't think he did know. And it was by chance that when he lent them to Zena Halpern, that Zena Halpern discovered the bulge, and probably looking through it on Christmas night, relaxing by the fire, and noticed the bulge and called Don Rue over to come look at it because she wanted to open it up and see what was inside. It makes sense. So Don Rue came over, they opened it up, and they found them. And it was after that that Don Rue and Zena Halpern had a falling out. And I believe that it was over these documents. I don't believe it was over any book. I believe it was over these documents, and who discovered them or who owned them, or I don't know what it was about, but I believe it was over these documents. And Zena Halpern, probably discovering that she was terminal with her disease, decided to go ahead and turn them over to the Oak Island, the Oak Island team, the fellowship that is hopefully trying to discover what is on Oak Island, and not the guardians of Oak Island. Who's to say? I have tried to reach out. I've reached out to Zena Halpern's son again. He just refers me back to try and get in contact with Doug Kroll, who I have emailed several times. I don't know where to go from here. I'm telling you guys, this is the most legitimate, the most factual, and actually the most directed data. This data is directed specifically to Oak Island. And there's no way that Don Rue or Bill Jackson could have fabricated this map. It's too sophisticated in its cryptology and its language, and they would have to be experts in French. They would have to be, well, they could have, they would have to be very meticulous in their drawing and the way they made these words, because there are so many clues and things like the petite. It looks like it's made by a 3-year-old, but that is on purpose. And the reason is because it sets up this scale line here by splitting the T's and the TE's, just like in petite, and establishing this distance down here at this underlying part. That's why this is underlying, which is from the top of the triangle to that underlying. And that distance from here to here is the scale distance in which you scale it, and you register it on the 45-522, which is found in La Formula. So there's a connection between La Formula. It's too sophisticated. I know these guys probably could have done it, but why? Why would they go through all this trouble to make such an elaborate map with all this data, which corresponds to real data on the island, Fred Nolan's data? And oh, by the way, this, all this down here is 90-foot stone data. This extension and this crossing here, that's 90-foot stone data. And that was discovered way before La Formula. I don't know, guys. I don't think we really need to track down the fact that this is not legitimate. There's no way that Don Rue could have come up with all this, and if he says it was 1979 that it was made, well, he didn't have Nolan's Cross then, so I don't see how he could have made it. If Bill Jackson acquired this in 1994, I think that sounds more legitimate, and I think he hit it. And I don't think Don Rue knew. If he did know about it, he didn't know where it was until after his death. And Zena Halpern just by chance happened to notice it, and that was the discovery of these documents. That sounds like the most legitimate thing to me. Anyway, I am going to try and reach out again to the show because there's not really too much more that I can do. Just like when I finished with Fred Nolan's data, there's not much more I can do. The other thing that I did notice, though, is this right here. Notice that this says the hole under the trap or the hatch, and it's right here, and that the valve is one particular thing right here. It may be that I have this listed as separate, the hole and the trap door. This might be the hole under the trapdoor, so these may be combined right here. So if that's true, this is really the discoverable point that needs to be discovered right here. This one, since it is a little more obscure in its location, which it comes off of this scale point, which is not off of any circle or anything. It's very obscure, and this the center of this circle does intersect right here, which is virtually impossible if it's not located exactly. So whether this is discoverable, I don't know. On the surface, I mean, it may be underground. This may be the valve underground. The other thing I wanted to show you guys too is if that is the valve, and I think I've showed this before, we got to go to the winter scene. Here it is. And let me turn off this map here. If this is the valve, okay, there is, and I've lived in the Northeast, there is a flow of warmer water coming right here. And if it's water underground, it's coming from under this island, it's going to be warmer. And it could be flowing out here or flowing in and out. I don't know. Now, whether this valve shuts or opens, I don't know either. But anyway, that's what I have. We're pretty much at a standstill here as far as anything discoverable. I'm still checking and going through some of the things on the Rochefoucauld map, but I pretty much exhausted all I'm going to do. We have Fred Nolan's data here. There's that. Let me get this off the... There's Fred Nolan's data right there. And then we have all the data from the Rochefoucauld map. And as you can see, it gets pretty busy. So, you know, even with the fish, we have the fish data in there. And that was one of the cryptic things. So, there's the fish. So, as you can see, we have a lot of data. And it is not something that is made up. It's very much from the information that we extracted from these documents. A lot of these lines only pertain to what I call verification, and verification of basically the points or the lines that are on this map. But yeah, there's a lot to it, and that's basically it. Anyway, I will, if I come up with some more data or something more interesting, I will make another video. You know, you can like or subscribe if you like, if you watch this to the end. Another thing is too is, you know, if you are from the show or you know somebody from the show that really is interested in trying to find out what is on Oak Island, this may be helpful. Of course, not all this data is really necessary, but it is definitely something that is worth investigating. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.